Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is Breakfast Daily. Now it's time for us to get into the news review segment where we are going to be looking at the present issues making headlines across the country. And we are going to be looking at President Mahama reshuffling the leadership of the Ghana Armed Forces. What does this actually mean or signal for the military's role in the national security and governance? In Boko, tensions have escalated again as a military officer has been shot dead, raising concerns about security situations in that area. And meanwhile, in Parliament, a newly inaugurated Parliamentary Service Board has already generated some debates, like the minority leader proposing a dedicated hospital for MPs and new parliamentary chamber. Well, are these priorities justified? We're going to be looking at that. And also in Kumasi, residents are expressing growing frustrations over erratic power supply. And joining me in the studio is Elvis Dako, who's the editor of the News Center newspaper and newscenter.com. Hello, Elvis. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great.
Your twin is not here, but he's on his way.
I'm sure he'll be here. And it's normal. Sometimes things, in fact, myself, could you imagine that I actually woke up at 7 a.m.?
Oh.
And then I remember that I'm supposed to be here.
Oh.
So the speed with which I got here. And so sometimes things happen and events can overtake you. So
Right.
Even if he's not able to make it, it's just human life.
Right. Okay. So we're going to be starting with the one everybody is really talking about right now. That's the Parliamentary Service Board, MP's Hospital, and new chamber proposal. So I will start with an article here on ChannelOneNews.com. Afenyo Markin pushes for new parliamentary chamber over security concerns. I'm going to read bits and pieces of that because we actually have two articles just for this topic. Minority leader Alexander Afenyo Markin has proposed the construction of a new chamber of parliament, citing security concerns and the need for a more modern legislative facility. Speaking at the inauguration of the Parliamentary Service Board for the 9th Parliament on March 17, he highlighted the vulnerabilities in the current setup, particularly in ensuring MPs' safety. Afenyo Markin highlighted the importance of having infrastructure that aligns with the stature of the legislative arm of government. Indeed, when I visited the British Parliament, even within the chamber, there is enhanced security. Here in the public gallery, anybody at all can throw anything at an MP, and there is no security. Mr. Speaker, I'm therefore looking forward to an enhanced security regime, and I'm pleased to depart from this infrastructure. We can begin a conversation for a new chamber befitting the legislative arm of government. And you can continue that on ChannelOneNews.com. And on the second article, citynewsroom.com, we have Afenyo Markin calls for dedicated hospital for MPs. Minority leader Alexander Afenyo Markin has called for a dedicated hospital for members of parliament to address health concerns while ensuring health confidentiality. Speaking during the inauguration of the Parliament Service Board for the 9th Parliament on Monday, March 17, 2025, the F2 MP highlighted the unique challenges faced by parliamentarians in assessing private health care. According to Afenyo Markin, the establishment of a parliamentary hospital will be a significant step towards safeguarding the health and privacy of lawmakers. He noted that the political class often faces heightened scrutiny, making it difficult to seek medical care without compromising confidentiality. And yeah, there you have it on citynewsroom.com. Like I said, I'm not going to read all the article, but just bits and pieces of it for us to get into the conversation. Remember that you're also part of this conversation, so feel free to send in your questions, your comments via the WhatsApp number on your screen, or just leave it right there at the comment section as you watch us on YouTube. So let's go straight into it. What's your reaction on, the proposal by the minority leader for an MP-only hospital and a new chamber, and the MP-only hospital just because of confidentiality?
Good morning to viewers.
Good morning.
If we have to start with from the health,
Yeah.
okay, what Afenyo Markin said only follows suit with what we have allowed to happen in this country. Senate is supposed to be managing our public funds, but Senate has its own hospital.
All right.
Bank of Ghana is supposed to focus on macroeconomic stability. Bank of Ghana has its own hospital.
All right.
Several institutions across this country have built hospitals. And therefore, if somebody who is a member of parliament is calling same, it is not like something new to us.
Right.
Okay. However, because he is in the legislature that makes laws, I was rather thinking that he would be rather proposing laws to make sure that institutions don't engage in that kind of lifestyle.
Right.
And that they focus on their mandate, and healthcare is left for the institutions that are supposed to deliver health for us. Because I don't expect that he will be endorsing what we have allowed to happen in this country, where the central bank is supposed to be focused on macroeconomic stability, is thinking about owning a hospital and owning hotels, owning guest houses. Senate, Cocoa that we say is in debt. Go and see the guest houses they have across Ghana. And therefore, I think that we should rather be making legislation to make institutions focus on their core mandate and allow other things to be done by other institutions. Because healthcare, we have so many institutions in Ghana supposed to deliver healthcare.
Right.
So we should rather let those do their job and let everyone focus on their own work. So though the proposal is nothing unique, it's not strange, because other institutions across this country have been allowed to do it.
Right.
I don't think that I'll support that, especially on grounds that confidentiality. I think that the majority should understand that when you become a public official, you lose a lot of your privacy.
Yes.
In the United States of America, the president annually undergoes a health screening. And the report is published for the entire world. If you want to check Donald Trump's medical record for the past 4 years before he lost the election, if you go online now, you will find it. If you want to find Obama's health report, what really is the state of his health, it is published. It is not a secret. So I don't see this issue of confidentiality.
Right.
Because it's as if in this country, people love to be in public office, but they want their lives to be private.
Yeah.
They want to be in public office, but they want their lives to be private. But from the jurisdictions where we are learning these things from, their life, once you go into public life, your entire privacy issue also becomes public. Whatever you do privately can become a public issue. That is why you go to vetting. Things that are not supposed to be public issues, you are asked. Because you are going to public office. So your private issues are all brought to the fore for the public to know exactly the individual that is going to occupy that position. So I don't really agree with the majority leader that because of confidentiality, they should have their hospitals. I was rather thinking that if he had made the argument that aside the MPs, they have parliamentary staff, and they are even more than the members of parliament. And the precedent in this country is that if you go to those hospitals built by institutions, you seem to be giving attention over those who don't work there. For instance, if you go to the military hospital, you all be in the queue, but then preference is more for military people and their families.
Exactly.
Okay? If you go to other hospitals, at least the institutions that built it, those who work there and their staff are given a certain privilege. And therefore, if he was to argue on that ground that for us as MPs, we are public figures, so we don't really have an issue. But we think that those who work for us are not public figures. They are civil servants.
Right.
And we think that if we have such a hospital, the preferential treatment that others get from hospitals built by their institutions, if our staff also go there, they may also have that kind of care. Then at a point I'll say, okay, if others are doing it, is it right in the first place? And if it's making an argument, it's not a new argument because it already exists in other places.
Right.
You understand it? You can't go to the police hospital and expect to be given the same attention as a police officer or somebody who is the wife of a policeman or husband of a policeman or children of a policeman. They will definitely give them a certain attention above you. You understand it? So if the argument was for that, I will not really be fighting or disagreeing with it. I will say, still I don't agree, but it already exists and other institutions are doing it. So if he is fighting for parliamentary staff to also enjoy similar benefits. I will not really have an issue. But to say that a member of parliament who is a public official, he has no business hiding anything about his health from the public. A member of parliament, you are paid by the taxpayers' money. You are paid by the taxpayers' money. When the Honorable Speaker Gbagbe assumed office, there were all kinds of publications that he was traveling with public money to go attend to his health abroad. Right? That is public money. So we should stop this idea of I want to be in public office but hide my issues from the public. It doesn't work. You either reject the public office and have your privacy. But the moment you accept to serve in public office, understand that you have lost your right to any privacy.
Right.
Whatever that is happening about you, we will query it. Even if you go and have another girlfriend, it's our responsibility to question why you have another girlfriend. It is our responsibility because you chose to serve as a public official.
Yeah.
So whatever you do with your private life is no longer private. Because we have to scrutinize why you are doing that. Because it is the taxpayers' money that is funding whatever you are doing.
Right.
And therefore, we cannot let people want to enjoy the benefits of public office, yet want to keep their life private.
Right.
I want the majority leader to understand that I will not subscribe to that.
Minority leader.
So the minority leader. So I will not subscribe to that. So I will not subscribe to say where you want to be that, hey, I want to enjoy the benefit of public office, but my life should be private. That I will not subscribe to that. So I think that the premise of health confidentiality, for which reason he is calling for that, I even disagree in the first place. But that's why I said the phenomenon of institutions owning their own hospitals, they are all over the place. So it's not anything if Parliament wants to do it. But Parliament as a lawmaking institution should rather be asking themselves, why do we have institutions trying to own their own hospitals when we have institutions mandated by the state to provide health care? Should we rather make a law to say, no matter which institution, you don't have the right to own a hospital.
Right.
If there are resources, let's give it to the institution mandated to provide health care to do it.
Right, but have these hospitals by these institutions actually helped the citizens of the country?
Why? Is it not public money? It's public money. That's why I'm saying that if the money is there, give it to the health institution to do it.
Rather,
because their mandate.
Okay.
So that you focus on your own mandate.
Right.
And then the issue of the new chamber. You see, he mentioned that he had been to UK Parliament security is tight.
Yeah.
On the grounds of security, I will agree with him that they need security. On the other hand, Parliament is supposed to be a public space. Everybody should be able to walk to Parliament. And when you are going to Parliament, they search you to make sure that you are not carrying any dangerous thing. But in the same UK Parliament, the MPs sit on benches.
Right.
They don't sit on the comfortable seats our MPs sit on here. He talked about the security of the UK Parliament. But he has not spoken about the chamber of the UK Parliament, how small it is, and how MPs have been sitting on benches for decades. And they have not said that they don't want the benches, that they should go and give them swivel chairs. The UK MPs have not asked for swivel chairs, so they keep sitting on benches. The UK Parliament that he has been to, when was it built?
Right.
And when was our Parliament built? So you see, this argument of we need a new chamber, I will not buy it today, I will not buy it tomorrow. That building that is there as a chamber of Parliament, if they want to configure it, change those big chairs and tables and reduce the sizes of the chairs and reduce the table size and configure it, they can sit there comfortably. They have huge offices that give them comfortability.
Yeah.
The hours they spend in the chamber should not be a problem because when they leave the chamber, they go to their comfortable offices to go and sit and continue their work.
All right.
So they should stop this argument that we need a new chamber. There are so many institutions that need money to do things. We see deplorable institutions in this country that need financing to improve. You are sitting in a fine chamber called Parliament, a nice building, you go there, you go to your offices, they are nice. They are being built, aside job system, they are built another annex to it. Every MP now has an office, you go there, has staff, has all kinds of things, comfortable chairs and everything. And the hours you spend just in the chamber, you want it to be so comfortable. Parliament is not a private institution. It's a public institution. When was the US Congress built? When was the last time I heard anybody asking that the Congress building is something so they have to change it?
Yeah.
I have had the opportunity to go to the German Parliament and even visit the chamber. The chamber that they sit in the chairs, they are not as comfortable as the one our people sitting here.
All right.
You understand it?
Yeah.
But they are not asking for a new chamber. So I think that this idea of Parliament trying to cajole the people of Ghana to say, at all costs, we need a new chamber. I think that they should understand that they are the lawmakers. If they think that the numbers are too many, they should make sure that the constitutional review process that we are undergoing, they will contribute to that. We should reduce the numbers of MPs.
All
okay?
right.
And then we can save some costs by reducing the numbers, and then they can be more comfortable there. There are the people who approve laws that says that if a number of people in a certain area exceed a certain number, a new constituency should be created, a new MP should be voted for.
Okay,
so
let's
it is that kind of transformation we have. We have always increased constituencies, but the same constituency also has power that you can reduce it. Why is it that we have always increased and not decreased? If we think that the space in Parliament is becoming smaller for people, we should reduce the number of MPs in Ghana and reconfigure
all right, let's
reconfigure the number of people who will qualify as people who deserve a constituency.
Okay, Larry, you're just joining us.
Yeah.
And yeah, Larry is the managing editor of the Herald newspaper. And obviously, you know what we're talking about.
Sure.
We're talking about the proposal of the new chamber and the new hospital. Are these proposals actually tone deaf? And especially given with the current economic and social challenges that we have in the country?
Okay. First of all, I must apologize for coming.
That's all right.
There's so much traffic on the motorway, and it's unusual, as you said, of me to come at this time. Now, this debate about a new chamber isn't something new. I think about 3 or 4 years ago, there was this huge debate about it where, you know, sections of Ghanaians rose against it. There was even, let's say, a civil society group sort of.
I was even part of those who rose against it.
Oh, okay. I mean, petitioning that over their dead body, would Parliament build a new chamber? Okay. And so this is nothing new. However, I think that what came up out of this was the Speaker of Parliament complaining about the fact that staff of Parliament get attacked every now and then when the people are chased, they scale the wall. He mentioned a forest. I don't know whether there's a forest behind Parliament, but I know of a cemetery behind the Parliament. So maybe they scale the wall into the Usu cemetery and then they flee. So basically, the speaker sets the tone for this discussion. And then the minority leader then walks in and says that, oh, you know something, why don't we consider a new chamber if it has to do with security? Because the whole place is exposed, and so, you know, MPs could be attacked. And also, if the speaker is talking about the premises of Parliament, that people get attacked over there, you know, then a new parliamentary chamber should be considered with an enhanced security. Now, I'll come to the health bit. Okay, then the health bit also comes in, and he talked about how, you know, for the sake of confidentiality and many other things and so on, you need some of these things to, you know, to go with. The fact that for to protect the speaker, the parliamentarians. Now, I think that the Parliament that we used to know in the early 2000s, it's not the Parliament now.
No. It used to be very small.
At that time, I think it was 200 or less. And it's been enhanced.
Yes.
And over the period, you know, we have a parliamentary police post now. You can't walk into Parliament just like that. The security features in Parliament now are, you know, a bit enhanced or more enhanced compared to when we were in GIJ. Back in GIJ, you could walk in there anytime, you know, and walk out.
Now there are scanners before you
there are
enter
scanners,
the
everything,
chamber,
metal detectors, all that. So you can't just walk into Parliament like that. You need, you know, ID cards and so on before you could go into Parliament. Okay? I mean, so it is not the usual case that we used to experience. I don't want to believe that the speaker has, you know, his mind set on putting up a new chamber. However, as I'm saying, the Parliament we used to know is not the Parliament now.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And there's been so many additions and so on. The speaker's blog, then the Lajete blog,
The
jobs,
annex,
the annex, exactly. Job 600 has been
Everybody has an
completed.
office.
You know, everybody has an office. You get it? Now, if there are issues about people being able to scale the wall, okay, and then come to attack somebody and then run
that is
into
even outside the chamber.
yes, exactly,
That is the
and run into a forest,
the
then
open
all
space.
you need to do is to put barbed wires or all that around.
Yeah, the electrical barbed wires. or
Exactly,
something, yeah.
and then deploy, CCTV camera
Everywhere.
Maybe but it wouldn't be at the cost of, the Ghana commercial. Sorry, the Bank of Ghana one, the $11 million. I hope. We wouldn't have to get there, but then let's deploy other security features so that people can feel safe working in an environment like that. Democracy, we all agree, comes with a cost, and so. But we shouldn't. Everything shouldn't go into the pocket or into the safety of an MP to the detriment of the ordinary person.
Right.
You get it? He mentioned Afenyo Markin mentioned the UK Parliament. What's the number of MPs in that Parliament, House of Commons? 650. And like he said, their chamber hasn't gone through any significant changes. During inauguration of that Parliament, you could see MPs standing. You could see them standing. The Speaker of that Parliament is virtually not seen during some of those inaugural sections and so on. And when they, so we can't have this thing where every now and then we are using democracy. I've been calling this thing procurement democracy. It's a procurement thing. Every now and then we need to do procurement. Every now and then we need to do procurement.
But now, how? Okay.
Yeah, and he said they are sitting on benches.
Exactly.
That is how come they call them back benches and front benches and so on. It's a bench. It's a bench. But not swivel chairs, feeling comfortable.
Always relax.
Yes, go to China, go and buy things and come and outrageous prices. Outrageous prices, Chris. It's some of the things when you hear, it's too much. Now, on the thing about the health thing.
Yeah, the hospital. The only hospital.
Yes, there's a clinic now in that institution. Things can be facilitated in such a way that, link that clinic to a good hospital.
To a hospital.
So that
maybe the bank hospital.
Yes,
maybe
maybe,
Smith's,
sure. Or maybe, and then Ayariga mentioned Ridge Hospital, which is not too far from the place. I think there's even an ambulance in that facility now, so that if anything happens, there's been instances where the MPs collapsed, and they were quickly, resuscitated in there before they were moved to wherever it is.
Yeah.
So, as I said, the Parliament we used to know that some of us covered is no longer the Parliament that we have it now.
Right.
And so, significant changes have happened. We can, in the name of, safety, and then, be denying others of whatever it is that is supposed to be, yeah.
Right,
so
right. So, lastly, before we actually go on a break, and this is for you, how do such proposals actually affect the public perception of Parliament and its priorities?
Well, obviously, as we said, we have other needs to take care of. There are various health facilities all over that we've put into this country. You get it? So if we are having to construct another, health facility, when our roads are not in good shape, other schools, we are complaining about how our schools have become and so on, to a point where now it's the old school, associations that are having to, support schools. Government is virtually at its wit's end and so on. Now, so people can't be hearing that sort of, narrative and be happy with it. Okay?
Yeah.
Do the things that makes everybody. The other day we heard about they using sirens. Okay? Because then they needed to drive against the traffic.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So
what's the emergency?
Yeah, you know the time
you're supposed to report to Parliament.
And then sometimes the funny thing, when there are days that they don't show up in Parliament and people raise issues, then they tell you that, do you know something? Parliament's work is not what happens. Parliamentary work is not what happens within prisons of Parliament, and that committee meetings happening elsewhere. People are on foreign trips. People are doing something, debating, or let's say considering a bill or something somewhere. So a friend of mine will say, when it suits the devil, he quotes the Bible. Do you get it?
Yeah.
When the ordinary person hears this, the ordinary person who has voted overwhelmingly for a certain change or a certain effect, when they hear some of these things, they may not be happy about it. Okay. And I think that, it's just a proposal. And some of these things coming up, I'm sure that the Afenyo Markins and then the Bagbin himself and many others, and even the government that will put money in there, will be alert to the anger of people.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right.
Do something better.
Yeah.
And let's be fair to Afenyo Markins, the reportage is as if he brought the
He
issue.
brought the idea. No, he didn't.
It's the Speaker of Parliament who brought the issue. And he was contributing to it. But all reporters are showing as if he's the one who, out of the blues, came out with those suggestions. No, we shouldn't do that. There are a lot of, as Larry has actually reminded, 4 years, 2020, there was a similar thing, and we've not had any MP coming to condemn it. They wish they have a new chamber. So it is a mindset of a lot of MPs, not only Afenyo Markin or the Speaker. It is like an institutional thing they want to do. But I want to advise them, it's not the best. Look, we complain about lack of doctors. That money, we have the money to build a hospital in the name of MPs. We should go and build a medical school in another region.
I think that I'm coming. Just a moment. The first proposal happened under Michael Quay.
Yes.
Yeah, it happened under Michael Quay.
Okay. Yeah. We should use the money to go and build another medical school in the regions. There are several regions in this country that have no medical school.
Right.
When there's a medical school in the region, the benefit is that the medical students go on outreach and help in terms of a lot of things of health. When people finish school, they are willing to stay there because they've stayed there for 6 or 7 years to do medical education.
Right.
So to serve in the region or in the district, does no longer become like you are done school in Legon or Korea, and then they post you to that region far away. So Ghana needs such facilities in other places. In Accra here, Bank Hospital is here. 37 military hospital is here. The Almighty Kolebu is here. University of Ghana Medical Hospital is here. Maritime Hospital is in Tema. There are so many good, rich hospitals, so many good facilities within the greater Accra region that if you need any health care, you can get. And therefore, no institution in Accra should be allowed to build any health facility within the greater Accra region anymore.
We need Parliament hospitals.
We need to have those hospitals in the other regions so that people can also have access to quality health care.
Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we will continue with the different topics that we have.